Right now, somewhere in your fridge, there could be a bag of shredded cheese that the FDA recalled months ago for metal fragments, and you'd never know it because it's sold under a dozen different store names. One of those names might be sitting in your cart this week. Another brand in your fridge right now isn't even legally allowed to call itself cheese. And the block you paid extra for because it says organic, federal complaints say those cows may never touch pasture. This isn't a rumor. It's on the record. Lawsuits, FDA recall notices, and a company's own nutrition label. 9 brands. Real paper trails. Stay to the end, because 2 of them actually did it right. And one, safe pick, has a catch nobody tells you about. If you eat cheese, and you've never once flipped the package over to read what's actually in it, hit subscribe now, because by the end of this video, you will. Number 1. Kraft Singles. Let's start with the shiny yellow slice you grew up with. Flip the wrapper and it doesn't say cheese. It says pasteurized prepared cheese product. That's not a marketing choice. That's the FDA's own labeling category, created specifically because this product doesn't meet the legal standard of identity for real cheese. It's engineered with emulsifiers to melt uniformly and sit on a shelf, a different job than a block of cheddar is built for. If you're watching sodium for blood pressure reasons, that distinction is worth 10 seconds of label reading before lunch. Bridge, Kraft, at least owns up to being prepared. The next brand's numbers are sitting right there on the box, and they're not small. Number 2. Velveeta. Velveeta's own nutrition label, not a forum post, the actual label, shows about 390 milligrams of sodium in a single 1-ounce slice of the block, and shredded Velveeta runs even higher, up to 500 milligrams of sodium and 6 grams of saturated fat per serving. Stack 2 servings into a dinner, and you're closing in fast on the 1,500 milligram daily sodium ceiling doctors often recommend for older adults. It's also shelf-stable in a way real cheese isn't, thanks to preservatives like sorbic acid and lactic acid listed right on the ingredient panel. Velveeta's numbers are on the label. The next brand's biggest problem showed up on an FDA recall notice. This month, basically. Number 3. Sargento's own FAQ confirms it uses powdered cellulose, a plant fiber anti-caking agent, in its shredded cheese, legal up to about 4% of the product. Some retellings of this story link Sargento to the big 2016 wood pulp and Parmesan lawsuit, but that's wrong. That lawsuit named Kraft and Walmart's Great Value brand specifically, not Sargento. Getting that wrong matters, because naming the wrong company in a claim like this is exactly the kind of thing that gets creators into real legal trouble. Speaking of Great Value, its actual problem this year didn't need any embellishing. Number 4. Great Value, Walmart. In December 2025, the FDA classified a nationwide recall of shredded and grated mozzarella over potential metal fragment contamination, and Great Value was one of the brands named directly, alongside roughly 24 others sold at Walmart, Target, Aldi, and regional grocers. This is current, it's documented by the FDA and multiple national outlets, and it's a real reason to check the sell-by dates on any shredded cheese sitting in your fridge right now. Great Value was also the brand at the center of that 2016 Parmesan lawsuit, the one wrongly pinned on Sargento a minute ago. 2 separate, real incidents, 4 years apart, same brand. And Great Value wasn't the only name brand cheese on that same December recall list. Number 5. Borden. Borden shows up on that same December 2025 metal fragment recall, right alongside Great Value, its own shredded mozzarella pulled for the same reason. It's also worth knowing Borden Dairy filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy back in 2020, citing rising raw milk costs and falling sales, before being sold to new ownership. None of that means every bag on shelves today is unsafe, but it's a real, sourced reason to double-check the label before you buy, not a guess. Now here's a brand whose big problem isn't in the ingredients, it's in where the milk actually comes from. Number 6. Tillamook. Tillamook built its whole identity on rolling green pasture and small family farms. It's right there in the ad campaigns. Say goodbye to big food. But a class action lawsuit filed by the Animal Legal Defense Fund on behalf of Oregon consumers, a real case that made it all the way to the Oregon Supreme Court, alleges up to 80% of Tillamook's milk actually comes from a single industrial operation in eastern Oregon with more than 70,000 cows. That's not a fringe claim. It's active litigation with years of documentation behind it. Family farm marketing can end up in court, so can organic, and one brand's fight over that word has been going on even longer. Number 7. Horizon Organic, the Cornucopia Institute, a farm policy watchdog group, has filed formal complaints with the USDA and pursued legal action specifically naming Horizon dairies. Backed by aerial photography, the group says shows large numbers of cows confined to feedlots rather than on pasture, which is what organic standards actually require. This has been a documented, years-long dispute between Horizon and organic standards advocates, not a one-off accusation. And this is where it gets uncomfortable, because the brand usually held up as Horizon's honest opposite has the exact same complaint attached to its name. Number 8. Crystal Farms. To be fair and precise here, Crystal Farms did have a real listeria-related recall of cheese sticks, but it's from the year 2000, involved one narrow product line, and no illnesses were ever reported. That's worth knowing, but it's old, isolated, and shouldn't be presented as an ongoing risk the way some retellings do. Last stop before the reveal, the one almost everyone has in their pantry right now. Segment 9, Kraft Mac and Cheese. In 2015, Kraft recalled 6.5 million boxes of its original mac and cheese after small metal fragments were found in the product, traced to 2 pieces of stainless steel rubbing together in a piece of factory equipment. To Kraft's credit, no injuries were reported, and it was a fixed, isolated cause, not an ongoing practice. Separately, Kraft has faced real, public pressure over artificial dyes like yellow 5 and 6 in the U.S. formula. Pressure real enough that the company has reformulated versions of its mac and cheese over the years in response. Quick gut check while we're halfway through. Do you actually flip the package and read the ingredient list before you buy cheese, or do you trust the brand name and move on? Tell me honestly in the comments. I read every one. Reveal section number 1. Cabot Creamer. Genuinely clean pick. Cabot Creamery is a real farmer-owned cooperative based in New England. That's a verifiable fact, not a slogan. That ownership structure means named farms and a smaller, more traceable supply chain, which is exactly the kind of transparency missing from several brands above. Number 2, Organic Valley. The honest caveat, Organic Valley is also a genuine farmer cooperative, and its labeling avoids a lot of the additives found in processed slices. But I have to be straight with you. The same Cornucopia Institute investigation that named Horizon Organic over factory farm sourcing also named farms supplying Organic Valley as failing to measure up in aerial confinement checks. I'm not going to hold Organic Valley up as spotless just because its marketing sounds better than Horizon's. That's the exact mistake this whole video is calling out. If you buy Organic Valley, it's a reasonable step up from conventional processed cheese, but organic alone isn't a guarantee. How to check it yourself, flip the package. If it says cheese product or prepared cheese product, it's legally not cheese. Read that as fact, not opinion. Scan the ingredient list for cellulose. Legal, capped at about 4%, but worth knowing it's there, versus milk, cultures, salt, and enzymes only. For any organic or family farm claim, search the specific dairy or co-op by name. The Cornucopia Institute publishes free, public organic scorecards ranking brands by actual sourcing practices. For any recall claim, including the ones in this video, search FDA recall yourself. The FDA's recall database is public, searchable, and updated in real time. The label on your cheese is a legal document. Most people just never read it that way. 9 brands, real paper trails, and a couple of surprises even I didn't expect going in. If this changed how you'll shop next time, subscribe and tell me which category you want fact-checked next, because half of what's common knowledge about grocery store food doesn't hold up either.